Welcome back to another episode of Bromance. I'm Ryan, and the hiatus is over. I'm back. I recorded a little bit of a longer episode with Terrell today. It's been a while since I've recorded, but recorded probably about an hour and a half episode with Terrell. We talked Knicks Celtics. We talked the Tatum injury. We talked Celtics future. We did NBA draft lottery. We did how the NBA is rigged. The top of the show, we did like about 10 minutes of pop culture. So Kelsey explains to us the Kylie Jenner, right? Kendall Jenner, Kylie Jenner, whichever one it was, and Timothy Chalamet, Buzz. And that's it. Be on the lookout. I'm recording an episode with Steve on Thursday and then posting it Friday about the Mavericks winning the draft lottery. That's it. Hope you guys enjoy.
Ice water turn Atlantic, night calling in a phantom. Told them, hold it, don't you panic.
Welcome back to another episode of Bromance. I'm Ryan, and today I got the power couple with me, Terrell and Kelsey.
Hello.
How we doing?
Wonderful.
Good.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having.
Of course, anytime. Terrell, he's been a valued guest, been on a few times now. Kelsey, first time appearance. How we doing?
Good. I'm so excited. I've been asking you to come on.
She really has. But we haven't really had too much, I guess, like stuff in common, other than we're both like huge Taylor Swift fans.
Yeah, duh.
So Kelsey is on today. We'll do like 5 minutes off the top of the show about pop culture.
Yes.
Kelsey, explain to me, like a 5-year-old, the Kylie Jenner and Timothy Chalamet relationship.
Yeah, so this is a huge deal because this is the second time Timothy Chalamet and Kylie Jenner were seen at the Knicks game. The first one was, what was it, like a few days ago? I think it was at LA, right? Did they play LA?
In Boston.
Oh. Well, whatever. They were at another basketball game together, and that was like first date night out. It's really private. They don't ever post each other on Instagram ever. And they just made a red carpet debut like after the Met Gala, which is like everyone thought it was going to happen at the Met Gala, which is the biggest night in Hollywood. There was the day after. So they tricked everybody. Then like 3 days later, they go out to the Knicks game in Boston with watching together in Boston.
So are they definitely an item?
Yeah. So they are an item, but she still won't post him, but people see them out together and they're holding hands and they're so lovey-dovey. There's so many between like Kylie when she's with Travis Scott and she just looks miserable and not happy. And then with her being with Timothy, she's smiling and they're kissing and she's giggling the whole time.
So we like Timothy more than Travis Scott.
Yeah, you just see her being like fun and like flirty and cute and like happy. With Travis, she just seemed like she was like sad.
Okay, what does Timothy Chalamet do? Like, why is he popular?
He's in like movies, but no movies that I really watch. He's in what's that movie called? My sister's obsessed with it. Shoot, I forget now. But he's in like drama movies, like really drama filled movies.
Oh, okay. I thought he would be in like The Notebook or something like that. The Vow.
No, but he was just in a movie with made by Bob Dylan or something.
Is that the guy who's always high?
Maybe.
Terrell?
But Kylie during his Oscars and the
Okay. Rank your top 3 Kylie Jenner boyfriends.
Oh my. Well, she also dated Jaden Smith.
Wait, really?
Yeah, when she was like probably like 14, so that wasn't the best.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So I would have to say her, and she dated Tyga when she was like illegal.
Oh.
So see what I'm saying? Like she's dating all those type she's dating
Different men of complexion.
and then now she's like with an actor and Timothy, yeah. So it's just different. And so I think I would like them two together the best, Timothy and Kylie. But Kim is still my favorite Kardashian, must say.
Kim is a boss bitch.
Yeah, she's the best. I love Kim. I met her one time in high school.
Really? Wait, you guys went to the same high school?
Yeah, I wish. I was on a field trip and I called my mom because the store that I went to, like we had a few minutes to shop. So I called my mom from New York City and said, I'm not getting on the bus until I meet Kim Kardashian. So you might have to pick me up in New York City.
I'm gonna one up you on this. I met Chris Webby one time at what is a store at the mall that is like the music store?
Wait, what? What kind of store?
The music store.
Hot Topic?
No,
No. Downstairs.
talking about not FYE. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, not to brag, but I went there when I was like 17 with my brother, and he signed the back of my brother's Samsung Galaxy S3.
Wow,
Yep.
dude,
Wow.
I forgot
I
Chris
didn't know
Webby
that.
was even a thing until you brought that name up.
I used to fuck with Chris Webby pretty hard.
Wow.
It's a CT legend right there.
I had like a three white guy rotation. It was Chris Webby, Mac Miller, and Cam Beacons.
Never even heard of that last dude. Is he all
No? Yeah, white guy.
okay? That makes sense.
And
Oh
then
my-
throwing some Eminem in him.
Solid.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, so that's that. So I guess if the Knicks keep going, let's hope that Kylie and Timothy are still there. I'll watch for them.
how old is Kylie Jenner?
I think she's like 26.
And how old is Timothy Chalamet? Because if I'm being honest, he kind of, I mean, he's much more handsome than me, but I feel like that's pretty much what I look like when I was like 17.
Oh my God. He's like 29 or 30.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That's
That guy might be older than me?
I thought he was
Yeah.
early 20s.
Oh, he's older than Kylie.
Oh my God. How do you spell this guy's name? Timothy.
It's,
He spells it funny.
yeah,
It's two
H-I.
E's.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He's
Right?
29.
Yeah.
Oh, that's insane.
December 27, 1995. Wow. That's crazy. Wow. So what type of movies has this guy been in? Movies.
I forget the movie. What is the name movie?
Dune. He was in Wonka?
Oh yeah, he was Willy Wonka.
Intergalactic?
Don't know any of those movies.
Neither.
Yeah, he was known for Dune because he was with Zendaya in that one.
This guy be putting out movies. He's in one a year since 2009.
Yeah.
Oh, he was in Interstellar?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm really missing out.
I
Yeah,
am
me
wondering
too.
how they met, but I don't really know that part of it.
True.
We just one day saw them at a Beyonce concert like 2 years ago, and that was that.
Maybe they met at like a Illuminati gathering or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I was
What's
thinking.
going
It's a small world. It's only a handful of them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
how else would they meet?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm just glad she's with him. It's so cute.
Yeah. But I don't know. Travis Scott hasn't really came out with any music recently, so
No,
maybe he's depressed.
he probably is because she looks so much better and happier than ever. The whole internet, all my TikTok is that basically.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, I'm missing out. Well, Kelsey, thank you for hopping on. I think we need to have you on more often. We give you like 5 to 10 minutes
Yes.
of updating us on pop culture like I'm a 5-year-old.
Yeah, because there's a whole other drama with Kylie, ex-best friend Jordan Wood dating.
Oh my God, it's all connecting.
Quick, they saw each other because Jordan Woods is the one who Tristan cheated on Khloe Kardashian with, and Jordan Woods and Kylie Jenner were best friends, and now she's dating Kat.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's a small world out there, huh?
Yeah, I actually knew who Jordan Woods is.
Yeah,
Wow.
but they were seen hugging at the game, so they must have made up.
Who, Kat and Jordan Woods?
No, Jordan and Kylie. He is just making the best person all around.
Yeah. Well, everyone here is Knicks fans, so that's probably why.
Yeah. Okay, I'll be back next week when they're back on.
All right, thank you.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Dude, we just got Norma, we just got Jackie, we just got Elena. 3 more views.
Yep.
Let's go.
Maybe that's how we do it, brick by brick.
Maybe Josie and Brendan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brendan wants to come on.
Yeah, Brendan was asking about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Does he watch sports like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
He follows basketball. He follows baseball. Follows football. And then I'm not sure about the others. I know he follows baseball pretty.
What type of teams does he like?
He likes ball. For
Oof.
baseball, anyways. I don't know what his other teams are.
Timberwolves
Timberwolves, yes.
and the
Timberwolves.
Dolphins.
Timberwolves.
Oh, wow.
Well, all of America.
Yeah, that's a little different. All right, so I try to start episodes with like some banter, and I have a good question for you.
Okay.
If you go to a store and you buy something that's $99.01 and you hand them a $100 bill, are you expecting 99 cents back, or are you expecting them to give you the cent and give you a dollar back?
I'm expecting them to give me 99 cents. But I also will get a little upset if they don't give me a dollar. Uh, I see merit to both of those. I personally will not get upset with them giving me 99 cents because, that's the money that I'm entitled to get back. So I would never get upset with that. But that being said, I do get upset when it's hard because I feel like I'm getting nickel and dime sometimes, even though I'm not. You're just giving me back the money that I'm rightfully owed.
Mhm.
But I guess it depends on the mood that I'm in when it happens because I go real back and forth on it. Wait, how do you feel?
So are you saying like Team Money 420 would just not give any fucks?
No, I'd want to get out of there immediately. I don't need to do any more overthinking than I already am. It really does depend on the mood. Like it depends on, how arrogant I'm feeling today. Because that's the only way that you could really make like a big stink over 1 cent and be justified in it. Like who the fuck actually cares? It's not a big deal, but
Yeah, it's 1 cent. So I used to work at restaurants when I was younger, so I've had situations like this. Dude, if the restaurants that I worked at, if my drawer was short and it was constantly short, it's coming out of my pocket. And I know it's just a cent, but like, let's say like I fuck up on a customer, I'm 16 at the time. So like, all right, if my drawer's a few dollars short every single day, eventually they're going to be like, yo, like, this is coming out of your paycheck because you owe us like $18 for the week or something like that. But yeah, if it's $99.01, like if I'm 16 years old, yeah, dude, I'm giving you the 99 cents. That's how it works.
mhm.
But I saw that was a kind of an argument earlier on in the week where people were like, "You should give me a dollar. You should give me a dollar." It's like maybe you should just carry a few cents on you then. And also, why are you paying with cash?
Yeah, that's the real strange question. Who is paying with fucking paper anymore, dude? It's 2025.
Dude, people don't even carry credit cards around anymore. They're like, "Yo, Apple Pay," or they have the card on their phone or even on their watch.
Yeah, it is. We are entering strange times where, things are just paid through via app now.
True, true. All right, let's get into some basketball. So I want to start with the high of what happened last night. So we'll go Knicks win.
Yep.
Then we'll go Tatum injury, Celtics future, and then all the way down here, NBA is rigged.
Okay.
All right, so let's start off with the Knicks win. So the Knicks win yesterday. They go up 3-1 in the series. They split at home. They are going to Boston tomorrow to play game 5.
It was a very good game. It's just unfortunate the way that it ended for the Celtics, but also fuck the Celtics. I'm not that upset getting sent home early. But it's funny because even with Tatum going down, they still have a really good team. Like if it was a different situation, had the Celtics won and tied it 2-2 and Tatum still went down, I probably would still pick the Celtics to win. But now that they've gone down 3-1, there's just no chance. But it was a really good game. I talked to you before I even watched the full game. And that third quarter was a banger, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Fantastic offense. Mikal Bridges is the first time I've ever seen him play, and I was impressed. Usually I just watch him and get fucking annoyed. I was super impressed with his fourth quarter in particular. He didn't miss a single mid-range. He's playing fantastic defense. He's won them multiple games with his defense alone. He's boxing out. He's putting in fucking effort. He plays like a dog. I haven't seen him play like that before, so I never really knew. But seeing him get to play this most recent game in particular really made me a big fan, and a lot of their success moving forward is going to be locked around him. What type of version of Mikal Bridges are they going to get? Because the kind of production that you're going to get for the most part out of everybody else. You know what you're getting from a Jalen Brunson and a Cat. You know what you're getting from Josh Hart. You can't really consistently predict what you might get from like Mitchell and OG. But as far as Bridges, he is going to be their X factor, I feel like, moving forward. He brings so much to the table. But it was a really good game. I'm sad that Tatum got hurt. I really, as much as I don't like the Celtics, you never want to see somebody go down like that. You never want to wish an injury upon anybody. It's unfortunate, but it was a really good game. And it was the first game that the Knicks did not have to play the super catch up in the fourth.
Yeah, so you hit on a few good points there, and I actually have a really good analogy for you, and I thought about this earlier. Mikal Bridges is the Michael Jordan of DeMar DeRozan's. My man is unstoppable. If he's like, if he has the ball and he turns around and he's shooting a midi, that bitch is going in. That bitch is 1,000% going in.
Okay. I can see it.
If it's a mid range, it's going in. If it's a three, you're just like, please do not. Just take like 2 or 3 steps. It's gonna be automatic. But just don't shoot the three, brother.
What is his post game like? Is he normally automatic in the mid range like that?
Yeah, he's. I would be willing to bet a good amount of money that he's probably top 5 in mid range field goal percentage.
Okay, because I've seen him take a lot of those shots before in some of the games that I've watched him play before, but I've never seen him consistently make them the way that he was. And even like he was so confident shooting them that I'm like, this must be like a good shot for him to be so smooth and taking them. And he took quite a few.
And they're tough shots too, by the way. Like him turning, going on like falling back from like the wrong foot, him like literally like jumping and falling back like 6 to 8 feet, from where he starts to where he finishes a shot. Like they're tough shots, but they're so easy for him.
Yeah, because there were a few where it's like it's a 1-footed fadeaway off of his left foot, and then there's a couple fadeaways where he's jumping off of 1 foot backwards away from the basket, and they were just all cash. And I'm like, okay, this must be in his bag. I just didn't really know it before. But if he can consistently hit shit like that, it opens up the offensive floor so much. Because if he's going to hit that, you have to collapse on him once he gets the ball. Otherwise, he's just going to kick it out to somebody and they get an open three, or you just live with that. You got to pick your poison. But him doing that opens up so much of their shit.
So Brunson, like driving into the lanes is like probably like their best, most efficient shot. I would say number 2 is Cat shooting threes when he's on. And then I would say number 3 would be Mikal Bridges just turning around, shooting the mid range. They're almost all automatic. Yeah. Unless Cat is having like a really bad game, like sometimes he'll get the ball and he catches it. I don't even think he's looking at the rim. He just chucks it. But he does have games where he just can't miss.
Yeah. This is somewhat unrelated, but I mean, kind of related. It made me giggle. Did you see the compilation, like montage of Cat going, "Oh my God," like with him getting fouled?
Yeah. Did you see the WhatsApp group message last night?
The
Knicks were getting cooked in the first quarter, and I'm like, Cat is too zesty. After all that.
Dude, he has a couple bangers of quotes. But what is it time to get New York a statue of Jalen Brunson? This man.
Oh yeah, 1,000. Dude, I tried naming my fucking kid Jalen.
Yeah, he's deserving of a statue. I feel like, for real. Like, even though they haven't won a championship, he's done so fucking much for that city, and he's putting them back on the map. Like, they're in a real situation where they might be able to make it to the finals and might be able to make some noise.
Jalen Brunson has been on the Knicks, I think, just less than half the amount of time that Melo was, and he's done 10x times more than Melo did in his career for the Knicks.
Yeah.
Not even close.
And it's hard because it's like we talk about players and winning players. I don't think Melo is a winning player, but it's hard because he's also one of the most talented players that the game has ever seen. But as far as doing more for an organization, I would already put Brunson above Melo. What has Melo done?
I think the Knicks won 1 total playoff series when Carmelo was on the team, and Brunson's done that in 1 postseason.
Yeah, literally.
Like, yeah, not even close.
I tried to do a Ryan, and I tried to take notes when I was watching the game. It's fun. I literally only wrote 1 note, but I remembered it.
Was it Jalen Brunson's Hemi?
It was what?
Jalen Brunson's Hemi?
No. It was about Jalen Brunson, though. Moving forward, because they taking a beating that game. Like, most recent game, he fucked up his ankle. I don't know if it was his same ankle or a different ankle that he fucked up a couple times.
His right ankle, yeah.
Yeah. But then there was one play in particular where Tatum got a fast break and Brunson went to go sprint after him. And you could see with those first couple steps, it's like he was struggling to move. And he stayed out in the game and actually did really good afterwards. But moving forward, I don't know the extent of how fucked up his ankle is. But they're going to need him. And he looked like he was moving on it a little ginger in the middle of the game. But that
I was thinking about this today. if I'm at a Knicks game and it's like, let's say this is like in the future, but Jalen Brunson's still in the NBA. Let's say it's like 20 years from now, and Jalen Brunson's ankle is like fucked, right? Fucked. And they
Mhm.
go to the crowd and they're like, it's halftime. Jalen Brunson needs a new ankle. Like, do we have any volunteers? I'm volunteering. I'm fucking volunteering.
Even for a 48-year-old Jalen Brunson.
Yep.
Okay, that's love. That's love.
I'm volunteering. Yeah, he's so fucking good. So I have notes for the game too. So we'll start out kind of chronologically. So the Knicks, that first quarter, they're actually pretty solid. The end of the first quarter, that's where the Celtics hit like I think they hit three, if not four threes in a row, and it was Derek White and Tatum. Just I think Derek White was like 5 of 7, and Tatum was 5 of 6 from the three.
Yeah, that first quarter was interesting because they talked about how the Celtics like to try to win the last 90 seconds of every quarter. And like right on cue, as they said that, I think it was Tatum. He came down and splashed like 3 or 4 threes real quick, like right in a row. But that's also an interesting way to look at the game that I'd never really thought of before. Like, hey, let's just take the last 90 seconds of each quarter. Let's try to get as much production out of those as possible. We do that every single game, and we're up, 15, 20% on them. And that adds up collectively.
Oh, 1,000%. That's why I've always been saying like with Tibbs in these rotations and like not calling timeouts. There's 25 seconds left in the quarter and Knicks have the ball. Like, dude, it's one possession. Like, call timeout, put your stars in. Like that one possession could literally cost you the game.
Yeah, because there was a couple times where I actually thought of you, because I think it wasn't this past game. It might have been game 3 or 4. But Cat had picked up 3 early fouls. He's a fucking idiot when it comes to fouls. That's always been his big problem, and it's still a big problem. I think he's just one of those dudes. He's not ever going to change.
No, no.
But he picked up 3 pretty early fouls, and they had to go sit him. And then Jalen Brunson also picked up 3 early fouls, but they didn't sit him. They left him in for like 4 or 5 plays, and all 4 or 5 plays, Jalen Brunson got scored on pretty fucking easily because obviously they're just going to attack him. And I was yelling at the TV. I'm like, dude, take him out. Like every possession matters, and you're giving up free points. Like you just gave up 8 points. With 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and you're down 8. You wouldn't have to be fighting this uphill battle had you just taken every possession seriously.
Yeah. So, game 1 and game 2 of the Knicks definitely steal. They come back from down 20. I actually have a stat for you. So the Knicks have been down the first 3 games. They're down 20 points in each game. In all 4 games in the second half, they have been down 14 plus points in every single game, and they won 3 of these 4 games.
That's insane. That should be like so promising. That should be such a promising stat for them moving forward into the playoffs because you go in losing by double digits every single time and you guys find a way to make it work every single time. Just find a way to stop playing catch up every single game.
I totally agree. So game 4 was their first game where I feel like it was a pretty good game from start to finish. The Celtics, they shot 50% from the 3 in the first half. But the one big thing, and I've been calling for this, like if people are watching this right now, go back when the Knicks played the Pistons, like one of the first episodes I did with the Knicks Pistons preview. And I'm screaming, double big, double big. When the Knicks go out and they make these runs, they either have Towns and Cat in the game, or they just have, Cat and Mitch in the game,
Okay.
Robinson, or they just have Mitch in the game. Because if you have Jalen Brunson out there, he's out there for your offense. If you have Mitchell Robinson out there, he's just for your defense for the most part, right? But that is going to allow you to make these comebacks. When Cat is out there, he's pretty much just out there for his offense. He misses a lot of rotations. He fouls a lot. So if you're having 2 guys out there like Brunson and Towns, and they're both bad on defense, and it's like, cool, we just scored 2. They just scored 3, though. You're never going to make the comeback. And the third and the fourth quarter, when they made these comebacks, they either had a double big lineup or they had Mitchell Robinson out there with Miles McBride. They did not have Josh Hart out there for the most part, and they did not have Cat out there. They did not. Cat got reinserted into the game in the fourth quarter with like a minute left, and they were already up 12. They went on the whole run with Mitchell Robinson.
Uh-huh.
The whole run.
I was going to ask you, what do you think it is that makes them fall into a hole every single game? But it seems like you kind of answered that. And now here's the fucking annoyance. It's like, here you are, a regular Joe Schmo bystander, not a professional coach. And you've already figured it out. Why can't they figure it out and implement it? It doesn't seem like it's that difficult of a thing to diagnose and then address.
So Tibbs is super old school. He's going to live and die by, playing hard defense. The one thing that when they made the Towns trade is they've never really had other than when he was coaching the Timberwolves, they've never had like a center that was like a focal point in their offense. Like when he coached the Bulls for all those years, Joakim Noah was their center. When he started coaching the Knicks, Mitchell Robinson was the center. The only time he really ever had, like I said, was like a focal point in the offense as a center was Towns when he was coaching the Timberwolves. So this whole year was an experiment, pretty much. And I think leading up to, I think it was like the middle of January, they were top 3 in offense. But after the middle part of January, I think the last 20-ish games, they were 18th in offense or something like that. They were not good.
Wait, what happened? What was the shift?
Jalen Brunson got hurt. Shots weren't going down. A big part of their issues have been rebounding. So if you have 2 centers out there and they're both crashing the glass hard as shit, which is what Tips has been, dude. Like, remember watching a Knicks game last year? You have Isaiah Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson out there just beating the absolute shit out of the centers. They have Josh Hart out there. Like they're out rebounding teams by 10, 15, 20 boards a game.
Yeah.
And then also it helps stretch the floor out too. So if you have Mitch down low, you're not playing that 4-out offense. You're having, Towns probably somewhere at the top of the key. You have, Brunson trying to break someone down in ISO. You probably don't have Josh Hart out there because you can't have 2 non-shooters. So you have either OG and Bridges, or you have like OG and Deuce McBride. So that those runs that they've been going in, they've been calling it like their nickel package. I don't know what that means, but they've been calling it their nickel package. It's Miles McBride out there with no Josh Hart, and it's no Cat, but they put Mitchell Robinson in instead. And that's the lineup that they've been coming back with in all these games.
Yeah, and you're right. I feel like boards are where they do make a lot of their money. And it was better last year, but it's still fantastic this year. Josh Hart in particular, I love watching him play. His motor is so good, especially for a guard. He's such a good rebounding guard.
I like Josh Hart. He's one of those, as a coach, like he's definitely one of those players that like you get and you're like, fuck yeah, I can't wait to play him 40 minutes. But at the same time, the fact that he's never willing to shoot the 3 for the most part kills you, because he plays a shooting guard. Like when he like grabs a board and he goes coast to coast and he's pushing the offense, awesome. When he steals a ball in transition, awesome. But when he catches the ball at the 3-point line and he doesn't like have a shot fake at all, or he does and the other team is like, fucking shoot it, dude, I'm going to be 8 feet off of you, I know you're going to try and drive past me. Kills the offense, kills it.
Yeah, that's why I used to get frustrated with him on the Lakers, because he would get so many wide open shots and just not make them. And as somebody that's like under 6'6" to be in the league, dude, you have to be able to make an open shot, especially as a guard. And it's like he's bringing a lot of other intangibles that a lot of other guards are not bringing. So I'm willing to be a little more lenient with him on his lack of shooting. But if you're going to be a guard and you're going to be on the floor and you're a complete non-threat to score, it gets hard to play you sometimes, because we have other people that are non-threats to score, but they're also 7 feet tall and can play defense and can run.
It's like they have a lot of one-sided players out there, right? So they have like Jalen Brunson, who's like only an offensive player. Like he can kind of hold his own on defense, sort of. He has been this series, I think, for the most part. Josh Hart is only out there for defense. Everyone knows that. Like defense, stealing the ball, pushing the ball up the court. Like if he has the ball and he's at the 3-point line, don't guard him. Put your center on him. And then they have Cat out there who's terrible on defense, misses a lot of his rotations, and he's just an offensive threat. But when you replace a player like Josh Hart with Miles McBride and you have someone down low like Mitchell Robinson, like you need stops in a playoffs, especially if you're playing from behind. Like, I don't know. I like Towns. The Knicks are up 3-1. I'm excited to see Towns in a Knicks uniform going forward. If it's tough to say because the Timberwolves look so fucking good and Randall looked so fucking good last night. I would rather have Towns than Randall, but the Dante DiVincenzo part is the part that honestly kills me.
You'll take Towns over Randall, but then it's like, so it's a whole package. So Towns over Randall, and then who else was involved?
Dante.
Okay.
And they desperately missed the 3-point shooting. Desperately. And they were missing a lot of Dante. He's a very good like face up guard you player. And he has crazy hops too.
Yeah, and he's also scrappy, which goes, hand in hand with the way that the Knicks play.
When Mitchell Robinson got hurt last year in the playoffs against the 76ers and Joel Embiid pulled him down on the ground like a scumbag, the first person that went up to him, Dante, chested him.
Yeah, it's fucking dirty, dude.
Chested him. So yeah, I miss a player like that. When they were trying to trade for Towns for I don't know, I think it was the trade deadline last year. They were trying to trade Randall and Mitchell Robinson for Towns. Did not want to include Dante DiVincenzo. And that's why the trade got pushed back so far into the offseason, because the Knicks were finally willing to say, fuck it. We will give you Dante. We will keep Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, it is hard because out of everybody that I miss on the Knicks team, it's probably Dante the most, just because he also enables them to play that super fast style of like pace that they want to play with. And it's like you could switch him out for a Josh Hart and you have almost an interchangeable player. They're both similar size. They're both going to put forth the same amount of effort. They're both going to play defense, except like you said, he could shoot.
Yeah, and it's all matchups. It's a best of 7 series. You're not playing the Hornets one night and then the Celtics one night. Like you're playing the Celtics like best of 7, in a 2-week span. So I would say Dante is probably the better player to have out there in this series, but we don't have Dante. So let's kind of go back to the game. So the Knicks go into the end of the first half down. Jalen Brunson and Jason Tatum have huge third quarters.
Dude, it was fun to watch. That was exciting basketball. They came out fucking guns blazing. Jalen Brunson in particular, dude, he has me like a giddy little schoolgirl watching him play basketball. Like I just giggle at some of the shit that he does because it's so fucking impressive how easy he makes it look. Like he just does crazy shit. There's a few times where he had Derek White looking like he needed a map, and then there was one time where he completely shifted Drew Holiday, and it's like making 2 of the most elite defenders that the league has to offer look foolish, like they don't belong there out on the court with him. That's how good he is. He's a wizard with the basketball. It's so fun to watch.
With a bad ankle.
With a bad ankle too, yeah.
With a bad ankle. Yeah, him and Tatum, they're really going back and forth at it in that third quarter. So Jalen Brunson, he scored 18 of his 39 points in the third quarter. He scored or assisted on 25 points in the third quarter. The Celtics only scored 23 points in the third quarter.
Yeah, he was hard carrying them. I shit on Tatum sometimes because he takes a lot of bad shots. And they might not necessarily be a bad shot for him because he practices taking bad shots. So I guess it becomes a regular shot. At that point, I don't know what fucking conversion rate you want to do on that. But he does take a lot of bad shots. But he was getting everybody involved and making a lot of his tough shots that he was taking. I feel really bad for Tatum because he was on the verge of a legacy game for himself. He was going to potentially have a career high. And if he would have won this game, that would have had such like crazy implications for his future, moving forward as one of the greats, because that would have brought them from, they're now in a 3-1 L. It's probably going to be an L. They're probably not going to make it out of this series to, he could have brought them back to 2-2, and that could have been the beginning of this comeback that they're making, and then they could have went on to win the title, and none of that shit's going to happen anymore. And it's what could have been, because he was having a generational game. Like, dude, he had 42 points, and what did he get hurt with, like 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter?
No. He got hurt with like 3 minutes left.
Okay.
I think it was like 3:10 or something like that. But yeah, no, Tatum looked really good. A bunch of friends and people from work hit me up, and they were like, "What do you think of the series? What's going on? What do you think of Game 4?" And I said when the Knicks were up 2-0, all they had to do was split the home series, go up 3-1, and that was it. But I said after Game 3, when they were up 2-1 in the series, whoever won game 4 was going to win the series, because if the Celtics won 2 straight and then they go to Boston, they're going to beat the fuck out of the Knicks. They won game 1, game 2, game 3. They were up 20 plus points. So now you can do that at home. I know that you blew 2 leads at home, but if you win 2 in a row and now you're going back home, like, yeah, you're probably going to win the series.
Yeah, and I agreed with that. I thought that, the basketball gods would right themselves, where I thought the Celtics had to beat the Knicks' ass for game 3. Like, that was the only way that was going to work. And they came out and then they did it. And then game 4, whoever won that was going to have all the momentum. Like, you said it correctly. Whoever wins game 4 is going to win the series. Whether it goes 6 or 7 is irrelevant, but the winner of that game is going to win.
Yeah, no. Yeah, definitely agree with everything you just said. So Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby in that fourth quarter, they score a combined 19 points.
Yeah, Mikal Bridges, like I said, 99 mid range, wasn't missing anything. OG normally a good jump shooter?
He's iffy. Like, when he's on, like, he doesn't fucking miss. But there's sometimes his shot is weird. I think it's like how it leaves his hand, where he'll shoot a ball and it looks like he's like shooting it and kind of jumping up and down like fuck. I think this is a bad shot. But he hit a massive 3. I think put him up like 9 or 12 or something like that.
Yeah,
the fourth quarter. Yeah. Now, and also another thing too. So there was no Hackimich last night.
Yeah, interesting.
I feel bad. I think he's shooting. I think it was like 7 of 23 from the free throw line for the series. And he's a basketball player. No shit. He wants to make all these shots. But, like, he had 2 terrible air balls so far in the series. On the one that he had in game 3, he had another shot too, by the way. That was his first shot. And he put his hands over his head and it's just like this. Right at the free throw line. And you feel so bad for the guy because you're like, dude, he wants it so bad, but he's such a bad shooter.
No, you don't fucking feel bad for a professional athlete airballing a free throw. Dude, you get paid millions of dollars to shoot. It's the freest shot of all shots in basketball. It's a free throw. Nobody's going to guard you. You're 15 feet away from the basket. It's not that hard. And, granted, it is that hard for some people, but no, I don't fucking feel bad for somebody missing a free throw. I especially don't feel bad for somebody airballing a free throw. I think that you should be ridiculed and made fun of, and you should have people yell airball in your face when you do some shit like that, especially in the playoffs.
I more so mean, like, I think there's certain players like Derrick Rose, like he has like a game-winning 3, like he doesn't even make a fucking face. Remember that shot where they just pick him up and he's just like staring at the camera like this?
One of my favorite basketball pictures ever.
So you got guys like that, and then you have guys like that wear their heart on their fucking sleeve. And Mitchell Robinson, and also Josh Hart, but Mitchell Robinson is one of those players. So he shoots that first shot, he airballs it, and it looks like he's ready to have a mental breakdown. You're just like, man, he's the longest tenured Knick, by the way. So I mean, he's been a Knick for like I think 7 years now.
I didn't know that.
When he first came into the league, he actually used to sit in the corner and shoot 3s.
That's wild.
Now you're just like, if he gets the ball, you're like, yeah, there's no shot he's shooting this unless it's a putback dunk.
Dude, what a wild journey he's been.
And game 3, there was it could have been a pass, but it looked more like a shot at the rim. And they called the foul, and the Knicks were arguing that it wasn't a shooting foul; it was a foul on the
floor. That's hilarious when you have your own team arguing against you to get free shots. Like, no, please don't. Just let us inbound it, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. So no Hackimich, doesn't matter. Knicks still make the comeback, and they actually were leading in that fourth quarter a lot. So I actually have a really good stat to kind of back up what I was talking about with the lineup stuff. Knicks had a 152 offensive rating per 100 possessions in the second half with, a lot of the second half, like I said, was Mitchell Robinson and Miles McBride in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So no Cat.
Okay.
The guy you traded for.
Yeah. One
of the best shooting centers in all of basketball.
So what does that number mean? Like, I have no number to even reference that with. Like, is that good? Is that bad?
It's good. That's really good. There was a stat, I want to say it was like game 3, where when Towns is out there, it was like a certain lineup. When a certain lineup was out there, their offensive rating per 100 possessions was like 78, which is like you're playing basketball in like the 1960s. That's fucking terrible. Like the 3-point line doesn't exist. It's all shots. Like there's no pace. Yeah.
That's wild. And it's interesting. It shows you how much of like a puzzle it is trying to piece all these different pieces together and have them work on the floor. Because like you said, they traded a lot to get this particularly big puzzle piece. And then where the fuck do we put it? It just doesn't work in this equation that we have sometimes. But these pieces do.
That's why I've been saying that I don't think Tibbs is the right coach for this team. And obviously, as a Knicks fan, yeah, 1,000%, I want them to win the series, and I want them to beat the Pacers, and I want them to win the NBA Finals, whoever they play in the finals. But there was a part of me before the series started, and I did a podcast with Bo last week where I'm like, Celtics will win in 5. Like, I'm pretty confident in that. They steal 2, and now they're up 3-1. But there was a part of me that was like, you know what? I think they have the right team, and they had the right players, but they don't have the right coach to coach these players.
Yeah, I can agree with that because it's like even if you like if we were to have this exact conversation this time last year, I would disagree with you because of the team that they had. But now that they have different pieces, he's trying to coach this year's team as if it's last year's team, and it doesn't work. You don't have the same pieces. So I can agree with you on what you're saying. I just don't know who the right fit would be. And you would probably have a better answer for that than I would much about coaches.
I don't really know. One of my buddies at work was talking to me about this, and he asked me the question, and I'm just like, I don't think that coach is really out there that's like a well-known coach. I was asked what I thought about Michael Malone, and I was just like, I don't really know. It's tough to say no to a coach who won, the finals 2 years ago. But the name I had in mind, which is actually kind of funny because he's on the Celtics coaching staff, Sam Cassell.
Huh. Has he been a head coach before?
Nope. He's been an assistant for a long ass time, and he was a really good player. I think he's been an assistant for 10 plus years now at this point.
I'm a really big fan of making ex-players coaches. They understand the game like on a level where an outsider or a bystander, the only thing that you could do is just throw out theories like, oh, I think this would work. I think that would work. Well, who would know better than somebody that's actually been out there and done it?
Yeah, and I mean, like JJ Redick, he's a coach of the Lakers, and I know he's gotten a ton of shit, like a ton of shit. I still think he's a top 5 coach in the NBA. It was his first season. He's going to make mistakes. They don't have the roster that they need. That's why he played, all of his players in the second half. In hindsight, like, it looks fucking stupid because they lost the series. But if they won the game, like, no one would be talking about it like that,
And that's the hard thing about making gutsy decisions like that, because when it backfires, you look like a fucking idiot and everybody questions your coaching credentials. But then if it works, everybody talks about you like you're a genius and it took such big balls to even make that move in the first place. Because I agree with you. He caught a lot of shit, but he was going to catch a lot of whoever stepped into that position was going to catch a lot of shit regardless. And then also the fact that it happens to be him and LeBron have a podcast, like the way that everything unfolded, he was going to catch a lot of shit regardless. But I still agree. I think he's a good coach too.
Yeah, for sure. So you know how like Bleacher Report or ESPN, they'll post, I don't know, like once a month, like these mock trades.
Yeah.
Bleacher Report posted one the other day, and it legit like pissed me off. It was the Lakers sending Jared Vanderbilt to the Knicks, and the Knicks sending Mitchell Robinson and 2 first-round picks. And I was like, brother, the player that couldn't play in the playoffs?
Oh, I like that trade.
The player that couldn't play in the playoffs is getting traded to the Knicks, like arguably one of the best players in the series for the Knicks. And the Knicks are sending 2 first-round picks? No fucking way. There's no way.
That's insane, even in a fictional draft.
No way. I'm like, the person who made this is drunk. They're trying to get crazy engagement, or they have no fucking clue like what they're talking about.
Well, I mean, it worked. Look at the engagement that we're giving them now.
Yeah, joke's on you, Bleacher Report, because we have like 500 subscribers here, and I might get 45 views on an episode. So you might have just gotten a few listeners. They don't even listen all the way. So you might have gotten like 3 people to pull it up.
You're welcome, guys.
Let's transition into the Celtics future, though. So Jason Tatum, torn Achilles, tough. I wouldn't classify him as a superstar. I think there's only four. I'm being dead honest. I think there's only like 4 or 5 superstars in a league. I think he's a star. I don't think Jalen Brunson's a superstar. I think he's a star. Like when you're saying superstar, I'm just like, yeah, dude, they could win MVP. They're that fucking good. They doesn't matter who's on their team. Like they're leading them. I know he was on Olympics. I know they won the finals last year. He's not a superstar to me. He has the talent to be a superstar, but he's not a superstar to me.
I'm gonna keep smiling at you until you explain yourself better, or give me some names.
Okay. I think right now,
Give me five. Give me five superstars.
right now,
5 superstars right now.
I think Luka Doncic is a superstar.
Sure.
I think that Jokic is a superstar.
Yep.
I think SGA is a superstar.
Yep.
Superstar, the stupid star. And Anthony Edwards.
Okay, that's 4. So you can only think of 4 superstars in all of the league.
Yeah. I think everyone else is stars.
What do you qualify as a superstar? Like, what's the differentiation between a star and a superstar?
A superstar to me is someone that like could totally take over a game consistently, not just like, oh, they had, that one good game that, they carried their team. Like, don't get me wrong, Jason Tatum was having a superstar game. I'm not saying he wasn't, and he's a really good player. In my eyes, he's just not a superstar. Like I said, I don't think Jalen Brunson's a superstar. I don't think Tyrese Halliburton's a superstar. I don't think, actually, you know what? I'll put Donovan Mitchell there. I think Donovan Mitchell's a superstar.
It's crazy that we just like agreed that Jalen Brunson should probably get a statue, and you don't think he's a superstar?
Right now, no.
He's a bona fide superstar. Yes, he is.
I don't think so. There's 4 or 5 names, and that is it. And it's like a superstar to me also is like, I tell my mom about that player, and she's like, oh, yeah, I know who that is.
That's more so what I think when I'm thinking superstar. It's like, how much name recognition do you have to people that don't even watch this sport? And that there's not that many anymore. I feel like there's not that many names that transcend sports like that. But yeah, I couldn't disagree with you more on the superstar thing. I think there's a lot of superstars. I think Tatum is a superstar. I think Brunson's a superstar. Because like you said, they have the ability to do it on the highest level and carry their team to where they're trying to go. Just because they haven't done it yet doesn't mean that they're not capable. And then it's like, do you need to do that in order to qualify as a superstar? Because in that case, Anthony Edwards shouldn't be on your list of superstars. He hasn't made he got shut down last year. He's on a better path to being able to do it this year, but he hasn't done anything superstar worthy.
He lost in the Western Conference Finals last year. They beat the Nuggets and they beat the Suns, and they're up 3-1 right now. Like they're gonna go to the Western Conference Finals again. He's in his 4th year. Like he hasn't done it long enough, but I think he's proven it. Brunson, I think he's on his way to being a superstar. Superstar, I keep on saying that. I don't know. I'm just being honest with you. I think there's only 4 or 5 players. Like I said, Tatum, he was having a superstar game. He didn't win MVP for the finals last year. Jaylen Brown was a superstar for them. Oh my gosh, superstar for them last year. Jason Tatum made the Olympic team. Didn't play a lot. Like I don't think he's a superstar. He has a talent to. He has a team around him to do it. I don't think he is.
I guess it might just be it's weird because I don't know. I would consider him a superstar, but I guess it might just be how you look at it and kind of your definition of it. Because I don't think that you have to single-handedly carry a franchise to be a superstar.
I think you have to 1,000%. Like the players that I just named, they're first tier for me. Tatum and Brunson, they're like second tier, but they're very high. Like they're close. They're really close.
Okay.
But they're not there.
So then again, with your own interpretation of being a superstar, SGA can't be a superstar. What has he won? What has he led them to?
He's been really good the last few years.
Yeah, but he hasn't led them to anything. Anybody can be good in the regular season.
They choked last year in the Western Conference. Actually, you know what? Hold on. The Wolves didn't make the Western Conference Finals because the Mavericks beat the Thunder. Right? Or am I misremembering that?
Last year, I don't remember what happened last year.
It was one of those 2 teams, but it wasn't both, obviously, because the Mavericks made the finals. But yeah, I mean, they kind of choked last year in the playoffs, but I know he's not a younger player. I think people forget he was involved in that Paul George trade when Paul George signed with the Clippers. No, he got traded to Clippers.
Yeah, because he's 26, 27.
No, he's a little bit older than that.
Because I was surprised when I found that out too. I thought he was early 20s. He's either mid to late 20s. It's kind of shocking.
Actually, no, he's 26, but he's been in the league a little bit longer than people would think.
Yeah.
Stats. Yeah, I know this might be a crazy take, and people might be watching this. And when I say people, I mean like 3 people right now are watching this, and they're just like, "Yo, Ryan's a fucking idiot." But honestly, like, I think that there's a lot of stars, but I think there's a top tier of superstars, and I think there's only like 4 or 5 of them.
Nah, we're gonna just have to agree to disagree on that one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is SGA's 8th year in the league.
Damn.
Been in the league since 2007. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 7th, 2018. 1 year with the Clippers.
It's wild. Doesn't feel like
It's been a while, man. So yeah, Tatum goes down with the Achilles. Celtics future. So Al Horford is 38 years old, and Al Horford, when the Celtics are playing on 2 days rest, looks like he's 38 years old. Jrue Holiday, I don't think this has been a very good Jrue Holiday season. He's been injured a lot. This series in particular, Brunson has been cooking him on one ankle. Jrue Holiday, he is 34 years old. Kristaps Porzingis is injury prone as fuck. Everyone knows that. I like KP. He was a good neck. He gets a bad rap. He had like some weird virus this season. He missed like a month. He came back. He was out. He didn't start a few games. He's coming off the bench now. And Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown has 4 years left on his deal. $235 million left.
that's insane.
On average, like over 60 mil plus. So what is the Celtics future?
Yeah, I don't know, because first of all, how long does it take for an Achilles? Like, is he going to be out all of next season?
He should, yeah.
100%, like all of the regular season, and then might be able to make it back in the postseason.
Same thing with Kyrie. Maybe, and that's pushing it.
That's so disappointing. That's already like really disheartening for next season's worth of basketball.
And the Boston Celtics, so they have a new ownership. So there was a report like a few weeks ago, and then there was another report, I want to say like 5 or 6 days ago, from Sham saying that expect big changes in Boston next year. So this was kind of like the last dance season for them anyways. Like I said, now you have an older team. You have an injured Jason Tatum. You have Jaylen Brown making, $60+ million a year. I think he's good, but he has not had a good series, especially game 3 and 4. Not good.
No, not at all. And especially it's like with Tatum going down now, they're going to need him to really show why he's deserving of $60 million a year. And I don't think he's worth that money. That's fucking insane. But yeah, their future is real uncertain as of right now. And if you were the Celtics and you had to pick one guy to roll with, are you going with Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum?
Tatum.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tatum.
Why?
I think that he has like a better overall all-around game. Like he could shoot the 3.
Mm-hmm.
He is very good on offense at times. He is a good two-way player. I think Brown is also a very good player, like very good player. I just think Tatum has a higher ceiling. I think Tatum has a higher ceiling, but I also think that Jaylen Brown has a higher floor, if that makes sense. Like you have a really good Tatum game, or you just have a Tatum game where I think he had 3 points at halftime in game 3. I think it was 3 points, or game 2.
Tell me.
Huh?
Were you asking me or telling me?
Kind of both. I believe Tatum only had 3 points in game 2.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I would want to say that's what it was, but yeah. And then you have a lot of upcoming young teams. Like you have the Pistons, who have been scrappy this year. You have the Cavs, who, I mean, I don't know what's going on with them. They're losing right now. It's the start of the fourth quarter. You have
Wait, what was the score?
It's like 86-75 or something like that.
Wow.
You have the Pacers, obviously, who are probably going to make the Eastern Conference Finals. It's kind of set in stone at this point. You have the Magic, who I feel like they're just like one offensive player away, like a good guard, a good facilitator away from being like a good fucking team. You have the 76ers, who had a terrible season, but there's no way they have a worse season next year than they did this year.
I don't know, man. How many times can you say trust the process and not have it work before you get frustrated?
No, I'm saying wins wise. There's no way they have less wins next year than this year.
Dude, they were so disappointing.
I hate the fucking 76ers. They're one of those teams, like they're probably the 76ers to me are probably like the Celtics to you. Like you can't fucking stand them.
That's insane though, but you like the Eagles.
I used to love the 76ers until Joel Embiid last year in the playoffs. I used to love the 76ers.
Wait, so last year in the playoffs made you stop liking the entire organization because of one dude?
Mm-hmm.
What did he do?
He pulled Mitchell Robinson down.
Oh, one play. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, this guy's a piece of shit scumbag, and he's been on the team forever, and he's the
Dude,
face
so
of.
You hate the whole organization now because Joel Embiid was.
That's the face of the organization. What do you mean? That's like,
not, dude.
No way, dude. That's like you. Okay, so I'll try to relate this for like Pistons fans, right? The Knicks just beat the Pistons. I guarantee you, if you ask Pistons fans what they think of the Knicks, they're like, fucking hate them. And you're like, why do you hate them? Because I can't stand Jalen Brunson. It only takes one guy, especially someone like that. You're just like, dude, can't fucking stand him. He's a foul baiter. Like, that's not basketball.
You know what? You're right.
I hate the 76ers because of Joel Embiid. And like I said, I love the Eagles. So like I used to really enjoy watching the 76ers. The Phillies, they're my second favorite baseball team. I love watching the Phillies play. I hate the 76ers now. Can't stand them.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I was not understanding at all at first, but that was a pretty good analogy. I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's tough because I think their team next year.
Who, the Celtics?
Yeah.
Are they going to have Pritchard back?
Yeah, Pritchard signed an extension, I think, last year. He's going to be on the team for a while. So you're gonna have a base of Pritchard, Derek White. I would say more than likely Jaylen Brown, but maybe they try to get off of him now because Tatum's going to be out for a year. But I can't really see that happening. Maybe they do though. I don't know.
I feel like that would be the most backwards logic of all time. Get rid of one of your stars while the other star is out, so now you have no stars.
I don't know. They could kind of really lean into shooting all those threes. Like I said, Horford's going to be 39 next year. Jrue Holiday is going to be 35. Like
Jrue Holiday's 34.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you have an old ass team, and Tatum's hurt now. He's gone for a whole year. That's why I'm like, do you just lean into being bad for a year?
No, they're not going to be bad, dude. They still have a good team.
Or you lean into just getting two-way players that shoot a shitload of threes.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to because their system already is live and die by the three, and that couldn't be more obvious than a couple of the ways that a couple of the games have gone this season or this series in particular. But yeah, they still have a good team. Even
no, yeah, they definitely do. Yeah. I'm not saying that they don't. I'm saying like Tatum's out for a year. You know he's out for a year. Yeah. You have 39-year-old next year, Al Horford, 35-year-old next year, Jrue Holiday. You have Jaylen Brown making $60 million on average for 4 more years. Now, I know that the salary cap continuously goes up. So, like, yeah, that seems crazy right now. But I could show you Damian Lillard's contract, and you'd be like, what the fuck? And I'm like, yeah, dude. And he's way older than Jaylen Brown. So, if you get a crazy offer for Jaylen Brown, are you taking it?
Would I?
Yeah.
If I had an offer, what do you mean? Like for the Lakers or just in general?
No. Like, let's say like you're running the Celtics and you get like an offer that you have to like call a meeting and like bring the boys in and be like, yo, what do we think? Are you listening to that phone call? Or are you just like, nah, I'm good?
I'd hear what they have to say.
I think you would have to, yeah.
Yeah. And then whether you do something or not is, kind of your call at that point. But it would be foolish not to hear what they have to say out. Because like I said, even if you do go another direction, you still have Tatum lurking in the darkness. He's not going to be back this year, but you still have him.
And I believe he'll be 28 when he comes back.
Yeah, like he's still. I don't even know what old or young is in NBA terms. He's under 30. That's young.
He'll be fine. A player like that will age well. A player like Giannis, to me, and if we have enough time, we'll talk about this at the end. But I think that some teams would be insane to trade like 5 or 6 first round picks and all these swaps when Giannis is already 30. He's been in the league since he's been 18, and he's not known as a shooter. He's known as a downhill, like I'm dunking the ball in your fucking face player.
Yeah, it's like he's one of the players that completely relies on his athleticism. Because
there's nothing wrong with that, but I just don't think it's going to age well.
Yeah, no, it doesn't age well. And the only way to get it to age somewhat well is for you to develop somewhat of a jumper, which he has somewhat, but, not the way that I feel like it should have been developed by this point in his career. Because once the athleticism goes, he's not going to be able to do anything anymore. And like you said, he's been in the league for a minute now, and he plays an aggressive style of basketball. That shit takes a toll on your body. You can only do so much of that.
And they made a lot of deep runs, too, in the playoffs. So that's a lot of playoff games, a lot of playoff minutes.
And it's like his style in particular is fucking exhausting on the body because when people play against Giannis, they just build a wall. Like they just fucking lock the paint up. They'll literally put 3 people and form a wall, and he'll just go right through the wall every single play. Dude, that's not sustainable.
He reminds me of athleticism-wise, like play style-wise, LeBron and Jimmy Butler. And now that they're older and later on in their careers, LeBron develops a 3 where he can like consistently take it, and it's a respectable shot. It's not a shot like back in the day where he's like 19, 20 years old and he like goes up for the 3 and you're like, dude, please just shoot the 3 because I don't want you to dunk in my face.
Yeah.
And then Jimmy, who has really good footwork, has really developed a good shot. And he's aged pretty well in the NBA, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because like you said, if they didn't develop jumpers, careers went on, we wouldn't even be talking about them right now because they wouldn't still be in the league. You can't play athletic, and then when your athleticism dies out, you don't have anything to then fall back on.
Yeah, so let's hit on this real quick, and then we'll do like 10 minutes of the NBA draft lottery. So I got a few mock trades for you. I want you to tell me yes or no.
Okay.
Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bobby Portis for Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and 1 first-round pick.
Are you saying like I would want it to go through if I was a GM, or what do I think of the trade?
Okay, so let me give you a mindset. So you're the GM of the Bucks.
Yep.
You don't have any of your first-round picks until 2031. This is legit, by the way. 2031. Okay. That's when you have your first round pick.
Okay.
You owe all of your first round picks. They're either picks or they're swaps with the Portland Trailblazers or the New Orleans Pelicans.
Okay.
And Dame has a torn Achilles. So keep all of this in mind.
Yeah.
So are you trading Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bobby Portis for Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and 1 first round pick?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you trading Giannis Antetokounmpo for Scotty Barnes, Jakob Poeltl, and 4 first-round picks?
Nah.
Yeah, this one I say no to. And the last one. Are you trading Giannis Antetokounmpo for Alfred Sengun, Jalen Green, and 1, 2, 3, 4 first-round picks?
Nah.
This is the one I like by the most, by the way.
Nah, just because Jalen Green is way too inconsistent of a scorer for me to be able to sign off on that.
So Jalen Green, I would say this is like his first like legit playoff run, and yeah, he didn't look very good, but he's still such a young player. I would be willing to take a bet on a package like that over Garland and Mobley, and the Barnes one I don't like at all. I don't think Scotty Barnes is nearly as good as what people think he is.
No, I don't. I think he's okay, but I think I'm probably in a similar boat to you. I feel like the hype around him was super strong, and then the hype kind of never died out, even though his play never leveled up to the hype, if that makes any sense.
I am of the opinion that they should have traded him instead of giving him this contract. And I don't think it's crazy egregious, but you are locking him up for a while. So they have him from now until 2030. They are actually, you know what? No, this is wild. Give me the number. He signed a one, two, three, four. Oh man, come on. He signed a 5-year deal, $224 million on average, $44.8 million a year. If I'm the GM, I'm not fucking giving him that contract. I am trading his ass.
Dude, he doesn't even do anything.
He's not worth $44 million a year.
Dude, that's a crazy amount of money to pay any player. And like you just said, you can count on your one hand the amount of superstars that are in the league. It would be tough justifying that money to one of them, let alone fucking Scotty Barnes, dude.
He's still younger for sure. He has showed spurts, but it's not consistent enough to be like, yeah, we're gonna give you a 5-year, $225 million contract. I want to pull up the Dame contract because we talked about it earlier. This shit is crazy, by the way. When he got this shit and then the Bucks trade for him, I'm like, I want to do that. Damian Lillard, he has 2 years left on his deal. Next year, so the year that he will be hurt, $54 million. The last year, it's actually a player option. He will be 36 years old. He will be making $58 million a year.
That's ridiculous.
36, and he's not a defensive player. He's never been known to be a defensive player. He's coming off a torn Achilles, and if he's still in the Bucks, they're going to be, unless Giannis is still there. Again, I don't know how you are building a team around those players when you only have your second round picks. Like, you really have to hit on the draft at that point. Yeah. So there's a fake Giannis trades that we just did. All right. I'm going to cook here for a little bit. All right.
Yep.
I did my fucking research on this. This is a bunch of bullshit, by the way. I'm going to give you a bunch of examples of why the NBA is rigged, and you cannot tell me anything different.
Okay.
In 2007, the NBA referee scandal happens where Tim Donaghy admits to influencing games, was charged with 2 felonies, and spent over a year in federal prison. In 2010, LeBron James leaves the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers win the draft lottery in 2011, 2013, and 2015. LeBron James in that final offseason comes back to Cleveland, and they trade Andrew Wiggins, who they just drafted, for Kevin Love. In 2019, AD gets traded to LA. Who gets the first pick of the following draft?
I don't know, man. Who got it?
The Pelicans. They drafted Zion. In 2025, so this year, Mavericks trade Luka Doncic to the Lakers, arguably the biggest market in any sport. Mavericks do not make it known that they're shopping him to maximize the trade. They make the trade in the middle of the night. The trade is so lopsided that Shams has to tweet that he did not get hacked. This is an NBA reporter, the most well-known reporter now that Woj is retired. The most well-known reporter being like, yo, my shit didn't get hacked. Like, this is legit. They get a ton of backlash, and rightfully so. And then they win the draft lottery yesterday. And also, did not mention this, the NBA ratings have been ass. So the last time that they had been this low was in 2020 during COVID. The previous time that they were this low, want to take a guess?
Let's go 1999.
Not that far back, but 2006.
Oh, damn.
So this is the third lowest that the NBA ratings have been in 25 plus years of this decade. That's how far back I went.
Okay.
So you trade Luka Doncic to the Lakers, and then the Mavericks, who was also a big market, by the way. I think a lot of people sleep on that. Get Cooper Flag.
Yeah, you know what? I always push back when you say it, but I will agree with you a little bit. I just don't like the verbiage that you use. I wouldn't say it's rigged, but there definitely is some funky business going on.
Would you like to guess what their percentage chance was to get the first pick?
Who, the Mavs?
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be 1%, 2%. It can't be higher than 3%.
1.8%.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Over what? Fucking 15%, 14%.
So the top three teams are 14%, and then it drops every tier from there.
Okay.
Would you like to hear the lowest odds to win the NBA lottery?
Sure, let's go.
Okay. In 1993, the Magic have a 1.5% chance to win the lottery. They win the lottery, they draft Shaq. In 2014, the Cavaliers have a 1.7% chance to win the lottery. They draft Anthony Bennett. In 2008, the Bulls have a 1.7% chance to win the lottery. They win the lottery. They draft Derrick Rose from Chicago. In 2011, the Cavaliers have a 2.8% chance to win the lottery. This was right after LeBron left. They won the lottery. They draft Kyrie. And last night, the Mavericks have a 1.8% chance to win the lottery after trading Luka Doncic to the biggest market in all of sports, and they win the lottery.
Damn. So 1.8 is like the lowest percentage that you could be at. Essentially, that's fucking insane.
Do you still think the NBA is not rigged?
No, I mean I won't say that it's rigged, but I will say there's definitely some insider trading. There's definitely some shit going on behind the scenes that we don't know about.
So I think this is so in your fucking face. It's like watching wrestling. So I think that the draft lottery happens yesterday at like 7:30 or 7:15ish. Then they cut right to the Knicks game. Do you know who was reffing the Knicks game? Who hasn't reffed a game since January, by the way?
No, who?
Scott Foster.
Okay.
Do you want to know what the Celtics record is when Scott Foster is reffing their games?
Let's hear it. Let's go. What is it?
12-0. And what is Scott Foster's nickname? You have to know this one. Come on.
I don't.
The Extender.
I've never heard that before.
You've never heard someone call him the Extender? When the series is like 2-1, 3-1, 2-0, whatever, Scott Foster typically will ref those games and his crew. And the team that is down will typically win those games to extend the series.
Okay.
The Extender. So I'm a Knicks fan. I think if you know me well enough, you know that I am not biased. I actually think I'm too tough on my teams. I expect more. I'm like a proud / upset, disappointed dad. There was like 4 or 5 blatant calls that the Celtics got yesterday. Blatant. The one where Pritchard went up and got fouled and they said it was a shot at the rim. Number 1, it was not a foul. Number 2, it was not a shot at the rim. It was a pass. It wasn't even at the rim. There was a few calls too yesterday where I don't know how much of the game you watched, but Scott Foster is not in the correct position. Now I'm a nerd here, and I'll kind of explain to people who don't understand. So there's 3 refs on the court. They all are supposed to be looking at different plays, and they all have different angles on stuff. So there's always typically a ref that will be under each basket. The refs under the basket will typically call the fouls that are under the rim. Scott Foster yesterday was the one calling fouls against the Knicks at midcourt. That is not the ref that is supposed to be calling those fouls.
Oh, interesting.
I only know that because my dad used to ref a lot of basketball games. And I would scorekeep, so I would understand kind of like ref duties. But there was a lot of times yesterday where he's calling fouls. You're just like, huh? And there's like fouls that like, okay, is that a foul in the regular season? Yes. Should that have been a foul called last night when there is shit that is 10 times worse that you haven't been calling and it's only on one side? No.
Yeah, I saw comments about a few of the fouls being pretty flagrantly in the Celtics' favor. I did not see any of those.
Really?
Granted, I watched 85% of the game. There's like 15% that didn't record for whatever reason. Maybe it was recorded in those 15% because I didn't see anything that I thought was crazy. I didn't see anything that I thought was like a bad call.
There was like 4 or 5 like really fucking bad ones that either got called or didn't get called, where it's like cat under the rim. There was one, and I'll try to find it and put it in this clip. I'll definitely clip this. It's Porzingis grabbing OG Anunoby's arm and in his offhand, he puts the ball up. And OG Anunoby, who does not complain about anything, like literally turns around and is like, dude, what am I supposed to do? Literally grabs his arm, like has his arm, like he has his hand on his wrist, so he can't go up for the ball. Porzingis is over the back and just push that shit straight up. And you're like, dude, that's the easiest shot in the world. And that's a foul.
Yeah.
There's a reason why it looked that easy.
Yeah, I never heard of the extender before, but I'm gonna definitely pay attention now. That's fucking insane that you could even like build up like the fact that you have a reputation for doing this type of shit and then still having a job at the highest level is insane.
So, who was one of the I wouldn't say like the most common, but he was brought up a lot in this case. The Tim Donaghy in 2007 that I'll send you some stuff afterwards, but there would be multiple phone calls a night before and after games that Tim Donaghy reffed. Multiple.
What, with Scott?
With Scott Foster, yeah.
Yeah. What are you guys talking about?
The extender.
Yeah. Oh, very interesting.
The extender. That was David Stern's bitch.
Dude, that's wild because it's like I shit on you a lot for, all this NBA conspiracy shit, but then you come out with stuff like this and I'm like, oh, okay. There's a morsel of truth to some of this.
I'm not like one of those people that see something online and it's like, oh my God, I watched one video and I got tricked into it. No, I do my research. I thought this shit beforehand. When they went into commercial break so they did picks 14-6, and then they had the top 5. I'm like, dude, everyone knows who's gonna win the very first pick. It was very fucking clear to me that the Mavericks were gonna win the first pick.
Yeah.
I wanted the Spurs to win it, but I'm like, there's no way that the Mavericks aren't gonna get it. Like, look at the teams that were there.
Yeah.
Look at the only other team that you could have been like, okay, like you could make a case for it where the NBA would want him to be there is the 76ers. You don't want to see him in Charlotte. They fucking suck. No one watches their games. You don't want to see him. You would want to see him on the Spurs, but people would be like, dude, they just won it last year. This shit is rigged. So you couldn't do that. And yeah, I thought that the Mavericks were the clear cut, like, yeah, they're probably going to get this.
That's wild.
Am I crazy? Does this make sense?
No, I 100% get what you're saying, and I'm actually going to look at it a little different moving forward because it's like you're being half shitty, but you're also being half serious. It's like you said, like, dude, they're doing it right in front of our face. It's the WWE. And had I approached this entire situation like it was the WWE, I'd probably also come to that same conclusion. Like, yeah, dude, it has to go to the Mavericks. It wouldn't make sense for it to go anywhere else. But you don't want to think about it like that because who does want to think about it like that? But, after a certain point when the shit is so in your face and then stuff like this happens, it kind of forces you to think a little bit like that.
I could give you more examples and I could do a whole last episode on NBA conspiracies that I don't even think are conspiracies. I think it's like, yeah, dude, that shit happened. There's no conspiracy about this. But let's close with this. So about an hour before we recorded, a report came out that had me like Wemby meme, or not Wendy, Wendy Windhorse meme, where I was just like, Tim McMahon reports that the Dallas Mavericks will draft Cooper Flagg and will not entertain possibility of trading away the #1 pick. Does that make you think like, yo, we're shopping this shit, call us? Or do you think it's like, no one call us, we're not shopping this?
I don't know. I would say nobody call them. That's what I would lean towards. You don't think so?
No way. No way. That's like you having a sick car, right? And you're just like in your head, you're like, dude, this car sucks. I want to sell it. And like a bunch of your boys hit you up, or like you have a fucking sign that's like in your window. It's like, this car is not for sale. And then right below it is the number.
Yeah, but it's not, they're not like out parading it though. And
why did this report come out so fucking quickly?
Yeah, that is true. Like, hey, don't hit us up. It's like,
hey, please do not contact us. Like,
yeah,
you have our number, and like teams definitely called us, and we made a crazy trade last year. But please do not call us. We're not interested.
Yeah, you could have just not said anything to get that point across.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
That is interesting. And also, with everything that happened with them this past year, it's like it would be foolish for other teams to, even if they said don't call us, it would be foolish for them to not try anyway, because it's like, dude, they gave up their fucking best player for, look at what they gave him up for. It's like, who's to say they're not going to give up their next best player for something potentially even stupider?
Yeah, if I'm like a GM, I'm definitely calling Nico Harrison and being like, "Hey, what's up, bestie? So,
What's up,
I
big?
I got dude, I'll trade you 10 second round picks, and I got this Quizno sandwich. It's pretty fucking fire. What do you think?" Um, I also saw one thing, and I thought this shit was hilarious, and there's no way this shit happens. There's no fucking way this shit happens. Do you think that the Mavericks would trade the first pick to the Lakers for Luka Doncic?
Dude, they should, just to show how much joke they feel like being this year. Fucking why not, dude?
They would have to put like
All the way.
actual contracts into it, but yeah,
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
that shit made me giggle yesterday. Where I'm just like, yeah, you would have to throw like high contracts in there, so it wouldn't just be the first pick overall.
Yeah.
But that shit would be so fucking funny, dude. I think Maverick fans would sign up for that 1,000%.
Oh yeah, no, Maverick fans would be on board with that.
1,000%. And also, nah, I was gonna say the Laker fans might be too, but nah, I wouldn't. If I'm a Lakers fan, I'm like, nah.
We have Luka. I'm not giving him up.
Exactly, yeah, because you're like Cooper Flag could be him. Like he's only 8. He's only 18.
Yeah,
He's only 18.
We also have him on our roster currently, and I don't want to give him up.
Yeah, I don't really agree with the roster that they have, but Luka's young. You don't want to. He's still relatively young.
I'd build around him.
Yeah, that's the right thing. And then I saw someone saying that the Spurs should try and trade up for the number 1 pick, or they should try and trade for Giannis. Thoughts?
Oh, interesting. I'm not. How would Wemby and Giannis work together? I'm not sure. But also now that I think about it, having a double big man lineup like that, and they're two wildly different styles of big man, it could be interesting. Actually, I kind of like that. I would like to see how that would work out. Who's the current coach of the Spurs?
It was their assistant this year because Popovich is retired.
Okay.
I don't know his name, but it's the assistant.
Okay.
For me, this is a big no, because I think Giannis is a good player, and you know what? When we're talking superstars, he should have been in that. He should have been in that superstar. He's a superstar to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Spurs should do it because you would have to trade like Stefan Castle, who just won Rookie of the Year. You would have to trade like Devin Vassell. You would have to trade Harrison Barnes. The Harrison Barnes part doesn't mean shit to me, or like Keldon Johnson, something like that. You would have to overpay for Giannis, and the Bucks would be idiots to trade Giannis to not get an overpay. And the Spurs have like the second or the third most picks in the league. So you know that they are going to have to send that shit out.
Yeah.
Giannis is 30. Like, I don't think that would be – I think that would be a fun-ass team to watch. And you also have De'Aaron Fox. But I don't think you would have any depth behind those players. And to me, that would be a trade that you'd be like, all right, we will be like in the Western Conference Finals like next year, the year after that, and the year after that. And then after that, probably not.
Yeah. Is that bad, though? If you could guarantee 3 Western Conference?
No. Because if you're trading the number 2 overall pick, so this draft is pretty top heavy. So like the top 4 or 5 guys are really fucking good. I am not trading that number 2 pick. I would try. They have the 12th pick. I would trade that pick. I'm not.
Who's going to be number 2 behind Cooper?
There's 2 guys. They're both from Rutgers. Dylan Harper and they have VJ Edco 3 here. That's kind of crazy. Ace Bailey.
Okay.
VJ Edcombe, he was on Baylor or Oregon. It was like a green and yellow team. I am not trading my number 2 pick overall. I am not trading Stefan Castle. I am not trading Devin Vassell. Like, I have a very young team. I am more than willing to build with them. Like, they should take the OKC Thunder route.
Yeah. And it's like when I was answering before, I was answering it like, oh, if Giannis can just end up on the Spurs, yeah. Like that would be cool. But as far as all the pieces that they would have to give up to be able to get him, it's not worth it because they're still in like they're rebuilding, but it's like they don't even know what they're rebuilding with. It's like they're in the process of trying to figure out what's going on. And for them to take all those new pieces and throw them out on a 30-year-old Giannis, I don't feel like would be worth it. But that's crazy that you don't think that guaranteeing 4 years in the Western Conference Finals would be worth it. I think that's absolutely worth it.
I don't. Let's say they make the trade, right? I think you might make the Western Conference Finals once. The Western Conference, like the West, is deep as shit.
Yeah.
You need a lot of stuff to go right. You need a lot of stuff to not go wrong, like injuries, which are out of your control. You have a rookie head coach now. Don't do it. I would say the teams that I feel like should, if the Nuggets somehow beat the Thunder, it's 2-2 right now. I think if the Thunder somehow lose a series, I think you should. I think you should because the Thunder really have depth, but they don't have a true number 2, which is what's hurting them. And I like the Rockets, but a lot of those players that they have that are young, they are, I think, a year away, some of them 2, away from getting these contract extensions. You cannot extend all these players. It will not fit in your salary cap. You are going to have to make these consolidation trades. So for the Rockets and for the Thunder, I think it would make sense. For everyone else, also for the Bucks too, like if I'm trading them to the Spurs, I'm getting all the Spurs picks. Cool, dude. Like Giannis is a good player. Wemby's a good player. De'Aaron Fox is a good player. Okay, we got all these young players and like 3 first-round picks. They're probably going to be in the late 20s, right? You were expecting them to be good. The Bucks are fucking terrible at drafting. And they also don't have their own first-round picks. They are terrible at drafting.
What do you mean their own first-round draft picks?
The Bucks, they don't own their first-round draft pick until 2031. Okay. It's 2025. Like, that's 6 years.
Yeah.
And they're terrible at drafting. And they are terrible at developing players, too.
Wait, but what do you mean they don't own it? I'm confused on that.
They made all these trades. Like, they made the Dame trade. They made the Jrue Holiday trade. They're still paying for Jrue Holiday, by the way.
How? What?
They're still paying for Jrue Holiday.
That doesn't even make sense. What? How, why? What?
When they traded for Jrue Holiday from the Pelicans.
Uh-huh.
Like, what, 3 years ago?
Yeah, I was going to say that was multiple years ago. How?
You can't trade picks in consecutive years. And you can only trade picks 7 years out in advance. So, like, let's say there's a crazy trade, right? Yeah. I can trade you 2026, 2028, 2030, 2032. Cannot trade you 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029.
Okay.
They're protecting teams from making these shit trades.
Okay. All right, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, ideally, if you're the Bucks, you want to get the most out of it. If you really do feel confident and, you know, drafting these players and developing, which I would not because they have a history of not being able to do that. Ideally, you would want to trade them to the teams that have your picks, right?
Yeah.
So do you think the Pelicans are in the Giannis stakes?
Yeah, probably not.
Do you think that the Trailblazers are? I would actually like to see them on the team, but do you think that they're in the Giannis sweepstakes?
I don't think so. Not in Giannis' sweepstakes.
That too. So
wanted to go somewhere without income tax.
That is a bullshit report.
You think so?
If you grow up from being poor shit, selling shit, you know, on the streets to now being a millionaire, like a multi-millionaire, obviously, like probably going to be a billionaire, you know, if you invest your money correctly. Do you think Giannis gives a fuck about state tax?
Maybe he does. We don't know. Is this all just you're saying that it's a bullshit story, and then your evidence that it's a bullshit story is your own anecdotal evidence? That doesn't make any sense.
If I grow up on the streets poor as fuck, like poor as fuck, and now I'm a multi-millionaire, like I'm not going to care about state tax. Let me pull up Giannis's career earnings.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, but also I'm from America, so I'm thinking like an American. We're not from Greece. We don't know what it's like.
That's why I think he would think what I'm saying even more.
I'm kind of playing devil's advocate. I agree with you for the most part. I'm being kind of shitty.
He has a career earnings of $283 million. He's getting paid $54 million this year. He's getting paid 58 the following year and 62 the following year after that.
That's insane.
He does not give a fuck about state tax. I promise you. That was literally just for, I forgot who reported it, but they're just like, yeah, the Heat are interested. Like that's all I got out of that. I would too. Like, yeah, no shit.
Oh, that's what they were saying. The Spurs from the thing that I saw. Like, oh yeah, of course he wants to go to San Antonio.
Yeah, like I said, I think that the Spurs and the Rockets are the only two teams that would make sense to or I'm sorry, the Rockets and the Thunder to actually trade for him. But
cool. Yeah, I can. I'm curious to see where he's gonna go because he's never actually like said that he's wanted out before until I think it might have been today or like yesterday. It's like the first
soft launch.
Yeah, the soft launch of get me the fuck out of here, please.
Kind of like what happened with Dame. Remember this?
How did it go with Dame?
It was pretty much like, I'll give you a good analogy. You're dating a girl and you're just like, I kind of hope she breaks up with me because I'm not feeling this. And she's also thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
That was Dame and the Trailblazers. They were both playing that game where it's like, I don't want to be the bad guy. So can you just be like, hey, I'm on the block?
Yeah. Yeah, and that was tough because everybody knew it was coming, but it's like it would be like you said, they don't want to do it because that's shitty on their part. He doesn't want to leave because that's shitty on his part. And it's like it's not like they were a bad team. Like they were consistently doing work in the playoffs, but they were just not quite there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Do you have anything you want to hit on?
No, I believe that's it.
Cool. Yeah, this ran a little long, an hour and a half.
Yeah, that's right. Dude, I've had to piss so bad for like the past 25 minutes.
Oh, my bad, dude.
No, it makes sense because I'm like, dude, there's no way we've only been here for like 45 minutes and I gotta piss this bad.
Yeah, no, my bad. I've been on a little bit of a hiatus. I've been trying to post on social media every single day, so I've been spending a lot of my time on edits rather than like episodes. Yeah. And I recorded a dodgeball episode on Tuesday, and then the previous one was with Bo before the next Celtics series even started. So it's been a while. But that's it. Thank you for hopping on. Got any plugs?
Nope, still no plugs.
No. Shout out Kelsey. Shout out Kylie Jenner. Shout out Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, shout out to the new power couple.
The power couple. All right, that's it. Thanks for hopping on.
All right, thanks for having me, dude. Later.
All right, peace.